Hello, everybody. I think we're going to do a little question and answer today. Probably not that many because I don't really like to get into too many question and answers. Here's the reason why. I used to do them all the time, but there's so many YouTubers in the villages now, and I'm noticing that the same people are asking the same question to 2 and 3 other YouTubers, and you're going to get 2 and 3 different answers. So I really don't even like doing the question and answers much anymore because of that. Unless it's a specific question pointed my direction about something, then I will do it. But the average question, let's say, and here's one, I'm going to do this one as an example, and you're going to see what I mean when you listen to what other people say. It's going to be 3 and 4 different opinions. I can only tell you what the paper that I got in the mail when I emailed the state representative, and they sent me this thing, which I don't have anymore, but I do remember the gist of what it said, of what the 55 plus 80/20 actually means. But over the years, that rule has been slanted, twisted, pulled out of shape to where I'm not sure anybody knows what the original meaning of the 80/20 rule was. I'll just tell you what the letter told me. And keep in mind, over the years, maybe this has been changed through the state representatives. I don't keep up with that stuff. I could care less, truthfully. I don't even care. The 80+ rule is this, and it all has to do with the home buyer, nothing else. 80% of the home buyers in the villages here, 55 plus, has to be 55 years old or older. The 20+ rule, the 80/20, 20+ rule was devised because there was a question many years ago saying, what if a guy retires at 55, but his wife is only 45? They move to the villages. He dies at 60. She's only 50. Does that mean she has to move out, even though her name is on the house as one of the owners? That's where the 20% kicked in. The answer was no. 20% of the people living homeowners in the villages could be under the age of 55 and stay here. Over the years, that has been so twisted and so removed that it's almost like that we don't even have a rule anymore. And that's as far as I'm going to take it, because that rule here to me isn't being enforced, and it's very disappointing for a retirement community to be this way. I had the question in one of my videos about a year ago, and here was my question to you. The people that's thinking about moving here and thinking what it is, how do you age restrict a city? My answer is it ain't going to happen. Another question was, what was my thoughts about the ambulance shortage all of a sudden? And notice I said all of a sudden. We been living here for 7 years. I've never heard anything about an ambulance shortage. There was no argument about it at all. I actually called the ambulance on a friend of mine one time that he was having a heart attack, but he didn't know it. But I kind of recognized there was something wrong and it was serious. So I called an ambulance. And within 2 minutes, even less than that, the ambulance was at the country club we were at here in the villages, and the guy was taken out and taken to a hospital, and it actually saved his life to get him out of there. Then all of a sudden they started building the Finney area down there, and they built another fire station down there somewhere, and they've got their emergency services there, and they have other emergency services I'm sure they use here, and it all of a sudden become an issue now. And I sometimes wonder, when did the issue start? Never heard nothing about it forever until, I'll say, actually maybe a few months ago, this shortage issue, and then people jumped on board and started making comments about it, saying, oh, well, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to straighten this out, we got to do something here. The time it takes for an ambulance to get to it, when did all this start? You got me. I sometimes think people make an issue when there isn't an issue. Or is it about a money grab? Once again, we got to raise your taxes to get this done. I don't know. I'm just sitting here enjoying myself the best as I can, and when these issues pop up, I just wonder what started that. At one time, they were going to go just this side of Brownwood down there where the square's at, and I can show you where. They were going to put in a helipad there, fairly close, not real close, but fairly close to the lofts of Brownwood. And they were going to use that as a helipad for medical services. And I think that got rejected. I don't know why, but it did. But speaking of the ambulance service, can you guys see this? Well, you can't. Linda sent me some things. You all know Linda, right, from the Wednesday Night Live show. And I'm reading it. It's basically about the fire and rescue services and things like that. I'm going to let her elaborate on it in WNL, and she can talk about it. And if you got any questions during the WNL show when she talks about the news down there, you can ask her questions, because she probably knows more about it than I do. She reads a lot of this stuff and keeps up with it. I don't. So we'll bring it up during the show. If you ask a question, if you don't ask the question in the chat, don't expect me to read your mind through this camera here, you have to put it in the chat. You have to type it maybe in capital letters or something, or send me a super chat for $2 or something, and it makes the whole thing change colors, and it draws our attention to it right away. And if there's a question in there, we will immediately jump on it. Oh, by the way, a night live guest tonight is going to be the reverse mortgage specialist. So if you've had any questions about reverse mortgages, if you've had any thoughts about it, if you have any questions about it, because I don't understand what reverse mortgage is. I mean, my mind tells me what it is, and I've heard other people talk about it, and I am one that doesn't like a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend told me this. That's not very good information whatsoever. So we got a specialist coming on that's going to give you the straight poop on what a reverse mortgage is and what your rights are, and so on and so forth. Got any questions? Come to the show, type them in the chat, and we'll get you an answer. Here's one here from Eric Davis. Says, hi, Skip. Love the content. Longtime subscriber. Thanks very much, by the way, for being a subscriber. I really appreciate it. We are buying in, says Hawking. No, we're buying in Hawkins. Village of Hawkins. That's okay. I'm just making fun. I am not retired yet, mid-50s, but I thought it would be a great place to slide into retirement. We hope to rent the place out for 3 to 6 months per year until full-timers. That shouldn't be a problem. There's rental shortages here. I especially enjoy your content today about experiences of others. If you are inclined to do so and you have any willing participants, I would love to contact them to ask about their rental experience and how they started. For example, any tips, and did they use a management company or handle everything themselves? Thanks for your content. By the way, my father-in-law oversaw the maintenance for the Nashville UPS hub for many years. Take care, stay safe, keep up the good work, and keep the faith. Well, first of all, thank your father-in-law for maintaining, over them years of maintenance for the UPS equipment, because I know what kind of job that is, and it's a nightmare. People just doesn't know anything about large companies like that and the maintenance programs and things. It's just almost like working at an airport. It's a nightmare. Parts. Anyway, tell your father-in-law thanks for his service. I appreciate it. Well, let me just say, Eric, my first one, I can give you my experience. I did the same thing you're doing. It was a little different, maybe a thought process than what you have. This is the crux of your question. We're going to rent a home out. So I just did a little investigating, and here's what I did. I'll make it quick because this video is getting way too long. I went to the villagersforrent.com at that time. Somehow that name had to be changed. So they changed it to Villagers Homes for Rent.com. The 4 is a number 4. Villagers Homes for Rent.com. And I took a bunch of pictures of my house down there. After Sue got some of the rooms painted, we got things kind of, got couches in there, chairs in there, all that kind of stuff. Walk around, take pictures in Lanai. And I went to the website called Villagers Homes for Rent.com today. It's called something else back then. You send them your pictures. It was, at that time, it was like $90 a year. And they would once they got your money, they would put your pictures on the website, your website, and then they would send it to you. Now, in that website, you put in anything you want. And I would put down, they have put January, February, all the way to December. Each month, you can put in there how much you would charge for that month. You put all this information in there. And that's what I did. So January, February, and March, when I put mine up for rent, the way I did it was you had to take all 3 months or you didn't get any, because the demand here was, at that time, was really good. And I think it still is. I wouldn't do month at a time. Take all 3 months or you didn't. I rented it out that first year to a couple in Canada, and that was it. They rented it every 3 months for every year after that till I owned this place. October was rented out to Petey. That's what I know him by, Petey. He's from Manchester, England, and he rented it in October every year that I owned the place. I also had a state police officer from, I think, Indiana that moved down to Florida, and he rented it. It was a certain time of year he rented it too, and he rented it every year. So once these people know you and they know you're trustworthy and you're not going to screw them out of the deposit and all that kind of stuff, they'll stick with you if you got a nice place in a decent location, which we did. Then I hired a home watch person. At the time, it was only $40 a month. And if you don't know what a home watch person is here, you need to check it out. Most of them are probably up around $50 now. They all have their own websites. But for $50 a month, they do a lot for you. At least once a month, they'll do a complete walk around your house. They go in your house and make sure everything's okay. They run the dishwasher cycle usually about once a month. They flush all your toilets. That's important. They need to do this, or otherwise smells happen. And then your dishwasher especially. There's other things they do. They seem to me if you have any packages being delivered at your house by, say, UPS or something, they will go get those packages for you, and they'll put them inside your house like on the kitchen table. So when you get there, they're there. And a lot of people mail things down before their arrival. We used to alert our home watch guy. We'll be down there Monday. We have a package that should be showing up Friday that we'd mailed down. It could be anything from extra clothes we didn't want to pack in the car to medicine. Who knows? We mailed it down. He'd pick it up and he'd take it inside the house and put it on the table. They do all kinds of stuff for the $40 or $50 a month. My guy would, when I had renters coming down, if there was any problem with the house, they all had his number. He would go over. And here's the number one problem you're going to have with renters, or at least with this, the number one problem I had with renters, minor problem. They would constantly call my home watch guy, not me, kind of figure out how do I turn on the cable box so it shows up on the TV. You know, they couldn't quite remember. You're dealing with elderly people here, and when it comes to technology with elderly people, sometimes the two don't mix. But he also had a whole list of repair people that would do work for me if I needed it done, and it could be anything. But he would make sure the yard was mowed like it's supposed to. When you got a patio villa, you got to hire a service. Well, you have to anyway, no matter, you know, really where you're at. But I wasn't down here, so I couldn't mow the grass. I had to hire somebody to mow the grass. So I hired this guy, and he mowed my yard there. At that time, it was like $20 a month. So the home watch guy, when he go there once a month and we'll kind of walk around the house, sometimes he'd take a picture of things and send them to me, just to make sure that the guy's mowing the yard, make sure, you know, he hasn't cut off one of my sprinkler heads, all these little things. But for the years that we rented that place out, I can tell you, other than one time a guy was drunk that was staying there, he was not supposed to be there. His girlfriend rented the place and brought him in. You have to watch out for that, especially if you have a golf cart that goes with the house, which I did. Well, with that being said, that's what I did. You can hire a property management company. There's many of them here. The Villages has them. If you want a house management company, you might call Ira Miller. I think he's got one. I know the Villages has one. I don't know if I'd recommend him or not. I have my reasons why. You do what you want to, though. If you want to call and talk to them, get the information that you want to get, go ahead. I know Irish Miller's got one. The other one's called Pelican something. It's on the video. Go look at it. And there's a phone number. You can call them and get all this information. And there's other companies here, but I will say this: beware who you hire for a property management company, because my neighbor right over there hired a property management company, and my neighbor lost $5,000, and the property management guy just disappeared. So beware. Make sure you got somebody that's stable. Make sure you got somebody that's been in the Villages for a while. I'm going to go this far. I don't know if I would hire any property management company that didn't have an office right here. If they're from Orlando, what are you doing? What do they know about the Villages? They're in Orlando. That's all I'm saying. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Hope this helps. Hope it wasn't too long. I'm sorry if it is. See you on the other side.